Hello, all one and a half of my loyal viewers of the YouTube land. I am back with a game of Vanquish, and I have a unique commentary topic to talk about today. In my previous video, I said that I was doing YouTube videos as a way to learn Adobe Premiere, and that the editing skills are never going to be quite up to par for high quality content, and the same with the gameplay. So I figured I'd at least make the commentary interesting, or hopefully you find it interesting. So as the title of the video gives away, I'm going to talk about the first and still only time I ever tried weed. So I tried weed back in, I think it was June or July of 2016, so about a year ago. My fiance and I went to Denver. She had a work-related thing, or a seminar in her related field, and I figured while I was in Denver, I would try weed for the first time. And she knew all of that going in, and she encouraged me to do it. And we went down to the shop together to find my item to get high. Well, part of this whole Denver trip was that I'd also be spending time with her father, who I'd met on several occasions before this trip, and her stepmother, and this was the first time I met her stepmother. So anyway, we're in Denver. It's the first day that we're there, and we go down to the marijuana shop, and I'm perusing all of the items, and I decide I'm going to get an edible because the idea of inhaling smoke, it would mess with me. I was really sensitive growing up to my grandparents' cigarettes, so have a I have pretty much no tolerance for smoke. So I decided the edible was the safe way to go. So I got a black cherry taffy, and that was that. We spent a few more hours hanging around downtown Denver, and after lunch we went back to the not the apartment, the hotel, because she had to get ready for her seminar that she'd be going to with her father because they're both in the same field. Anyway, since I figure I'm going to have the afternoon alone, I decide this is the perfect time to try out the weed. Man, I sound really, really white when I say it like that. But anyway, I decide I'm going to try out weed while she's at her seminar and just see how it affects me. So I eat the taffy. It doesn't taste very good, but it goes down, and I think that's that. I'll probably go see a movie or just hang out in the hotel room and watch TV, just to see how it affects me in kind of a controlled setting. So I go downstairs to see my fiance off, and I meet her father and her stepmother downstairs. And I'm trying not to start a conversation, but they're very social people, whereas I am not. And my stepmother, or my future stepmother-in-law, says, "Hey, want to go to a museum with me?" And since I've only met her, this is the second time meeting her. The first time was earlier that morning for about 20 minutes, so still really the first impression. And I felt so awkward that I did not say no. And while we're walking towards the museum, I'm freaking out because, hey, I just tried weed. And now I have to try and not make an ass of myself in front of my stepmother for the first time ever. So we're going through the museum, and it doesn't hit me. It takes a while to hit me, probably about an hour, hour and a half, where instead of feeling something really strange, a really familiar feeling pops up. I feel like I've had a couple of beers or, one strong drink, maybe on an empty stomach. So I'm not really drunk, so to speak. I feel buzzed. I feel a little bit relaxed. And I can just tell when I'm not quite up to speed on things. So when I was looking at the architecture of the building, because it's an art museum, it has interesting architecture, a lot of bends and slants and interesting lines that you wouldn't find in a normal building. They kind of disorient me, or they just kind of stick out as really weird. But the whole time, I'm trying to have a conversation with my stepmother, and but I'm also biting my tongue and my cheek so that I don't know. I just thought that if I was feeling pain
Our
or
heat
something, it
source
would
is
keep
coming
me
up from
from
within the
really
substructure.
falling
Need
over
a
the
bit more
edge
intel than that.
Data analysis complete.
to
It's highly
this
probable we're looking
mythical
at the
high
Russian
that I was expecting.
KNRB-0 Argus robot that's been at the center
And
of
we're
the
moving
arms
through
control.
it, and we're just having a good conversation. And I text my fiance and I say, "Hey, I feel a little bit weird, but not. It's really nothing." And then
I
about
think
two
I'm
or
gonna
three
need a
minutes
bigger
later,
gun.
my stepmother's phone buzzes, and she looks at it, and she says, her
It's
husband
cargo patch time.
says in a text
Descend from
message, "Go
halfway
get
to the outer
go
shell
get
to
David
extract
more
the ship.
weed." And she looks at me and she's like, "Are you high?" And I was like, "Well, I tried an edible," and so it was like really putting me on the spot. And all I can think is, "Wow, my fiance betrayed me. My future father-in-law decided to just throw me under the bus right there in front of the stepmom." And she's like, "All right, let's go get some more." And that shocked me. Like, I guess I should preface any more of the story by saying that my stepmother-in-law and my father-in-law are they're libertarians. They're very loose. They're very free people. As long as you treat people well, they don't give a shit what you do. And they're also just very easygoing and relaxed, which is why her response to finding out that I had tried an edible was to be like, "Hey, let's go get some more." So we leave the art museum and we walk down to another dispensary, and we're looking through this place, and I'm like, "Okay, well, you know what, I'll just get the one edible." And she's like, "Nah, let's not do that. Here, I'm gonna buy this one." And she gets a bottle of 20 edibles, and they taste like Sour Patch Kids, so these ones are actually pretty good. And I was like, "You don't really have to do that." She's like, "No, no, I'll enjoy them too." And I'm like, "Okay." So the minute we are out of this dispensary, she cracks open the bag, gets our edibles, and she like pops one in her mouth. She's like, "All right, here you go," and she like hands over the bottle to me. So I take one, and then we decide to walk around downtown Denver more. And still, I just feel like I've had a beer or something. But she's like looking at her phone. She's like, "Look at my weather app. If I move the point around, I I see different temperatures. Isn't that wild?" And she's going on and on about her weather app, and I'm just like, man, it hit her so much better than it hit me. I kind of envy her because it hit her, and apparently it's having no effect on me, which is crazy because alcohol had crazy effects on me at that time. Um, So we go back to the hotel, and she's like, "She's still not hitting you," and then she like throws another edible at me. So I'm like, "I don't know if I should." She's like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." I take the third edible, and she's like, "All right, let's go back out." So we're going back out. We're visiting downtown Denver. We're walking around. We go to this underground store, and we're looking at this art on the wall, and apparently we left that place because the minute we got outside was the first time I realized that was the moment it really hit me. I just had no recollection of stepping outside of that store, so it just hit me like that quickly. And I look at her and I'm like, "How did we get out here?" And she's like, "Oh, it finally hit you. All right, we should go back to the hotel." And the whole time I can't really talk because it's just I I'm trying to get my bearings and I can't quite get them because what ends up happening to me is I keep falling into this kind of I feel like I'm in this kind of loop. So like every 30 seconds I kind of like wake up from a nap and think back to what had happened in the previous 30 seconds, and all I keep falling into that is like, all right, oh, I got to track time, and about every 30 seconds I lose track of it again, and I'm trying really really hard to focus, and I can't stay with it. Like, so I keep in that endless loop of like 30 seconds where I'm just like, wow, how did I get here? How did I get here? What was I just talking about? Somehow we make it back to the hotel. I don't really remember how, and I'm still just trying to keep up with trying to put together more than the last 30 seconds of this day. We go up to the executive lounge, and I just start freaking out because there's some other people up there besides my stepmother, and I am freaking out. I feel like they're gonna like look at me and they're gonna know I'm high and I'm gonna end up in prison or something, even though it's totally legal in Denver. So I leave with pretty much no notice to my stepmom and saying, "Hey, I really need to go back to my hotel room because I'm in full blown paranoia at this time," and I make up the excuse that I have to go to the bathroom. Well, apparently that was a big mistake because the minute I said that, I had to go to the bathroom, and I proceeded to spend the next, like half an hour in my hotel room, pacing back and forth, thinking that my fiance is going to leave me, and running to the bathroom because I swear I have to go to the bathroom and I'm about to pee my pants. Um, so, anyway, my fiance finally comes back and she's like, I was just at my seminar. Why were you freaking out? And I just look at her and I was like, I don't know. Anyway, and I have to go to the bathroom. And I try to carry on this conversation about how I'm really sure that she's about to leave me, and she's laughing at me, and I tell her, hey, you got to go tell your stepmom that I'm okay because I just left because I had to go to the bathroom. So she leaves, and she's only gone like 20 minutes, but for me it feels like 20 years, and I'm back to freaking out, pretty sure that she's going to leave me, and that full-blown paranoia just keeps going. And when she finally comes back, she has to like console me because I'm still freaking out and I'm still going to the bathroom like every minute or two just because that just won't let up. So the full-blown paranoia ends, and that's pretty much the end of the story, at least all the interesting parts. We ended up spending the night in the hotel room. I got the munchies and I ended up eating room service, this giant piece of chicken, fried chicken. This was really good, by the way. Um, and that was pretty much the entire story of the first time I got high. So the first time I got high, my future stepmother-in-law bought me a giant bottle of edibles and popped them with me. So that's the whole story. I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, I'm gonna try and do more commentaries and videos like this. If you liked it, let me know. Blah blah blah. All of that stuff. Anyway, talk to you later.